Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. Here with my father.
Come on.
And Dad, do you want to introduce our guest today? I feel like I should give you the
I would
honor.
love to.
We've never done. I always introduce the guest, but I
Yes.
feel like it's your honor here.
Yes. I would like to introduce to the show Orla Gartland.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Yes. How are you? How
Yes.
is your experience on tour? Actually, first, let's say you just got into Vancouver today, correct?
Yes, rolled in hours ago.
And how are you liking Vancouver so far? Your first time?
It's not. I've passed through Vancouver I think twice before.
Really?
So yeah, so I've toured the States and Canada a few times as a session guitarist for my friend. So I've been on tour over here, but not for my project.
I see.
Oh,
So
I did not
I've
know
kind
that.
of passed through in like a brief way, playing shows with my friend Dodie,
Yeah.
and she was playing bigger rooms than we are, but it's the reason I've been in a lot of these places before. I love it here. I think I feel very at home with this weather.
Yes.
Yes.
I was going to say, yeah, with the rain and the
It
gloominess.
was like weirdly on the east coast of the States. We started in Boston. I was wearing shorts at the beginning of this tour. It was
Crazy.
really hard to pack for. So I kind of, once I got to this more like, it was raining yesterday. We were in Portland.
Yeah,
and
Portland's
all
the same.
all the people
yeah.
in the venue were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about the rain." I was like,
I was going to apologize today because I was hoping it was
no.
like super sunny. You could see Vancouver's mountains and everything. Remember I said?
Yeah.
I said, but we did have some sun come out.
Today was a mix.
Today was a mix, yeah.
It was a mix. I had a little walk around, had some tacos. It was great. Yeah, I really love it here. And I have not a lot of friends, but I have a lot of Irish people moved to Vancouver. So
Okay,
I know
well,
a lot of people.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
go. What?
No,
Cute.
the city is really, really filled with right now with people from Ireland. Like
You look very concerned.
no. In such
I love it.
It's
I
a real epidemic.
Not at all. I meant it was really, really cool. When Kojak came and played a show at
He sold out.
He sold out I think it was the Pearl.
the Pearl, yeah, or it's
Okay.
got a new name now.
It's got a new
but,
name. It's on
I
Gravel
don't-
Street.
I don't know the capacity, but I've never seen so many Irish people in my life.
It was packed, and
bet.
yeah, it's great. Like I have this affinity for Irish people, and it's just great. Every time if I go to a bar and then somebody's there. It's horrible though, because I'm always like, I think I make them feel out of place because like, oh, you're Irish, and I get all excited about
Yeah.
it, right?
Tell
It's
me more when I go.
Yeah, yes.
You expect them to start.
And I'm like, you're Irish.
It's just a guy who's just trying to serve. He's just trying
Yeah,
to
what
get
do you
his
want?
tips and
Yeah.
go
Yeah, there's
home.
certain pockets that Irish people are drawn to, and I'm not sure how it works, and I'm interested that so many Irish people end up on this side of Canada.
Mhm.
You'd think that it'll be over on the other side, but
Yeah,
I don't
not,
know. It's
not
a
lot.
real thing. A lot of us go to Australia. A lot of us go to Vancouver.
Boston.
There's just certain, yeah, of course, yeah. There's certain pockets. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but yeah.
Well, we had a whole for longest time Australians were going to Whistler.
Yeah, which is about a 2-hour drive from Vancouver.
Yeah, it's our
Okay.
ski resort. So you'd go up there,
Mm.
everybody was Australian.
It
but-
felt like you were in Australia.
But I
just
think now
with
it's
snow.
changed. I think it's a lot of
More
Irish.
Irish,
Yeah, people working up there, right? I think it's a 2-year. Do you get a 2-year?
2-year visa, I think.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, you get a 2-year visa. So
Yeah, way easier to get in here than in the States, but I'd much rather come here. I'm just gonna put that out there. I get it.
I'd like to. Can you get a visa to go to Ireland from as Canada? Could you? Could I
I'm
go
not
there
sure
and
how
work
it
at my
works.
age? Like,
At your age.
well, I mean, just like I don't know if there's an age thing.
Well, I know there's
Oh, it
a,
shouldn't
there's a
be.
youth.
I don't think so.
There is a youth visa. I think the youth visa wouldn't apply to you, sadly.
Okay.
Okay, maybe it is an age thing. I don't know how it works. It's all very complicated, isn't it? But yeah, you have to, when you organize a tour, God, yeah, there's plenty of all that nonsense to have to work through. But have you guys been to Ireland?
No.
It's a dream of mine to go to Ireland. I've been to London. I've been to Scotland. I have
Lovely.
not been to Ireland. I think it's the lack of a train over there.
So true.
That's
At least you know that. I was talking to someone in the States after one of the shows who thought that Ireland and England were sort of bolted into the same island. And I didn't really have the heart to tell them that they were wrong.
No, yeah. The only thing that's prevented me from going over there is just getting on or organizing an easy jet flight or something like that,
Yes.
or and getting everything set up because I've been to Scotland and it's about 4 hours from London, I think, on train, 4 and a bit. So and I love Scotland, and I've always wanted to go to Dublin, and it's on my to-do list at some point. Hopefully hopefully soon. Hopefully in the new year, I'd like to go.
You're
Which you haven't been over to the UK or Ireland, but
we're not going to get into that. That's a session I have to talk to Orla about one time. I don't like flying very much. We've talked about it, but I have to get over there this year. Like,
have you always had that?
No, it started when I was like 15 years old, and I smoked a joint, and
you just wigged out about it.
And I just wigged out about it since the flight before that. I went right across Canada, and I was fine. And then after that joint, something happened, and I wigged out. And
the weed triggered some type of anxiety in you, and then you just.
And I was fascinated with planes before that weed.
Wow.
But you know what? Weed at a young age is like, Vancouver's, we're all weed here, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
so I've
there's
heard.
weed shops everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed. There's actually mushroom shops now too. Have
Yeah.
Have you seen one?
I have.
Yeah.
Is it legal?
It's in a gray area.
It's in a gray area. You can go
But
in
they
there.
can open a shop?
Yeah, you can open a shop. You have to like sign a medical thing to get it. So it's like in that gray area.
You get a microdose, right?
But I think it's you can take you can dose as much as you want.
Well, that's such a shame about the flying. I'm so sorry. I really wish you could just click your fingers and be somewhere. And I think that all the time with touring.
Oh, I can imagine.
I wish you could just. Now I'm in Vancouver,
Yeah.
So tell us about the tour so far. How's it been?
It's been great, thank you. Yeah, the shows have been amazing.
The shows specifically. Yeah.
The shows have been really amazing.
Not so much the traveling and back and forth, but
the travel. We had a couple of logistical things.
Errors, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm traveling at these are small rooms between sort of 200 and 500, 600 capacity across the whole tour.
Yeah.
So it's quite a small. It's quite a small like bunch of rooms, and there's only 6 of us traveling around, so it's not it's a really compact group. There's 3 of us on stage. We've got the support who's called Emma Harner, who you will love her. You just did
She is amazing.
Oh my god, she's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah,
I should be opening for her. She's unbelievable. But yeah, we've had a couple of logistical things. We had a driver walk out on us.
Yes.
Just did a runner, which was a phrase we were trying to explain to Emma, as the resident American in the group. So yeah, and a couple bus breakdowns. The drive shaft fell off, which I not a bus driver, but I could tell it was quite a serious issue.
Yeah.
Who looks after that though?
So
tour management, or do you as?
Yeah, I mean, who looks after it as in who pays for it? Me. But
Yes.
who looks after it in the moment? We've got an amazing tour manager, Jamie,
Okay.
who's
Yeah.
really calm and cool in a crisis. And I've
Yeah.
seen that happen a few times over the last couple of weeks on this tour. And, it's a real skill, isn't it? Like in a moment of everyone's turning to you to try and figure it out. And when the driver walked out on us, we were between Detroit and Chicago, and we were on the highway when the drive shaft fell off. So we kind of had this real kind of stuttery couple of seconds, and he pulled us over onto the hard shoulder, and we were there for a couple hours.
So Jamie was driving when that happened.
Jamie was driving because the
gosh.
driver had
Oh, jeez. So did he pop out and grab a drive shaft, come back, install it, or?
Well, we managed. He managed after a couple of hours to get a repair person to come out. But it was 2 or 3 in the morning on a Sunday. So and again, what's amazing about Jamie, and I respect this in anyone, not just touring people, but you really see it during tours, because chaos is just kind of part of it. Inevitable. But it's really amazing with Jamie. He manages to still be like a great hang.
Yeah.
Even when he's just in a crisis like that, which I think is amazing. I'd be
super chill.
catastrophizing and being like, okay, whole tour's over, and he just kind of
let's go home.
He has this way of being like just having a bit of clarity and saying, okay, there are a few steps here we need to do before the next gig. We need to get the bus fixed, then we need to drive there, whatever. So he's been amazing. This tour has been very testing for him. But we're here. We've made it to all the shows. And luckily the shows have been more than worth it. That's what really makes a difference. Like the logistics of touring are always like, touring is deeply and inherently uncomfortable. Even at quite a high level, even though we're not at a high level, like the next level up. And when you're on a proper sleeper bus, like that's also kind of
uncomfortable.
And then I have friends who've been on tours who, you're flying around. That's also kind of uncomfortable as well. So there is an inherent sort of messiness and kind of camping feeling to the whole thing. But the shows are what make it make sense. So
make it worth it.
It's all been worth it. Every broken drive shaft or new driver, and any of those things that have happened. I've been, it makes sense when the shows are good, because in those moments it all falls away and you just think, who cares about the drive shaft?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
So, Dad,
I've got 300 questions, but
okay.
I don't think.
No, not the clipboard. That's so sweet.
He just got it 2 days ago.
Yeah, you know what? Can I tell you
You're
why?
the first episode
It's so
with the
pro.
This is the
episode
first one.
with the clipboard.
And I'll tell you why. I got this from Rick Rubin. I've been listening to his to get me inspired to songwrite again. Right?
Listen to his
His
podcast.
podcast, yeah.
And his audiobook.
His audiobook, yeah.
Audiobook of the Grey Book. I can't
Yes,
remember the name.
yeah. Just to get me motivated and get back into that creative space. So I've been listening to that and saying, okay, I still want to create at my age and make some music and stuff. So I've been listening to that. So I saw him do an interview with Biba Doobie, and then he had the clipboard, but he had his shorts on in his house in California. He had the clipboard like that, and I'm like, oh,
He's a pro.
he's a pro. That looks really cool.
Whereas you used to have your questions just cut out.
I'd cut them with scissors and stack them and then throw them over
when
this
you were
way.
done.
Oh, like newsreader vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
But
Right.
no, I was, before you brought the clipboard out, I was just going to ask, or just say that, you've been a fan of Orla.
Yes.
But you introduced me to Orla, which is usually, the concept of the channel is I introduce you to stuff. So you kind of stole my role there. But
I did.
tell me about that and tell Orla about how you've.
Do you want me to tell you about tell everybody about the sound test?
Well, that's what I'm going to get into. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So how did you discover Orla? I actually don't know.
Okay, for a long time I followed Dodie,
Yes.
and I've been obsessed with her her talent through YouTube, and I've been watching her do multi-layer harmonies.
Love.
And just create. So just on the fly, she's creating something, and I think there was a big time during COVID where I really started watching her, and I was like, wow, this is amazing what she's doing here, right? And then I found out she had this project, Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the album. I fell in love with the singer who sang "Close One," and I thought, this is one of the best voices, best phrasing, and I think it was 2023. I think 2023, that was my song of the year. Mm-hmm. It really, really, really is something special. Oh. So who's asked that I bug all the time?
Yeah, so this is where I come in here. So me not knowing Fizz at all, you brought up Fizz a lot in our Patreon videos before we get into the album that we're about to do. We'll test the audio just to make sure the levels are good. So we'll pick a song and I'll say, oh look, today I want to hear the Beatles, so let's put on something and test it. Not something in the song. Well, I guess it could be something in the song.
It could be the song, yeah.
But anyway, put on something, test it, and you would always say, let's test with this band called Fizz. Let's test with Fizz. And at first I was like, cool, and I liked the song that you would choose. You always choose a different song.
Yeah, High and Brighton and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Then I started to get a little worried that you maybe went behind my back and took some sponsorship deal, because I was like,
on the hard push.
Yeah, I was like, you're bringing up Fizz a lot. Like, every video you're bringing up Fizz. I feel like you were, bringing it into. We'd be doing a hip hop album, and you'd somehow compare it to Fizz. So I was like, did you go and sign some contract with this band Fizz, and you're getting paid to promote them or something?
No,
and
it was just
use code at the checkout.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, no,
exactly.
It was just sheer love. That's it. I mean it. That's it.
So now you can go to your clipboard. Kind of.
Yes.
Love it.
But I'm moving straight on.
No, please.
Past Fizz, but I'm saying congratulations on making such a brilliant record. It is really a great album.
Thank you.
And I just want to know, how was the process of making Everybody Needs a Hero compared to Woman on the Internet?
Great question. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you guys some praise because you just gave me loads of praise. But I love your podcast because two great loves in my life are obviously music, obviously, but also dads. Like good dads, and particularly like a strong father-son relationship. injected into my veins. I just absolutely love it. When I go and see my friends' shows, I love identifying where their family is, and I want to watch the family be proud of whoever's on stage. Like, it really, really, really gets me. And I have a great dad as well, and it's a beautiful thing. So this is my dream podcast, is what I'm trying to tell you.
But before you answer the question, do you see any dads at the shows that you?
There has been quite a few. There has been, dads love me, and there has been a lot of older guys at the shows, I've noticed, and it's really great. I really hope that those people feel like included, because I think when you come to a show like mine, first couple rows, often like young people, a lot of young girls, and I just always want to do my best to be like, it is a very like diverse crowd, I think, that I have as well, and it's just, I really want everyone to feel welcome. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to like stall at the back. But I have noticed that the last couple of shows we've done in sort of Chicago onwards, and then Portland last night, I felt like it was a really mixed group, and there was a strong dads contingency, which I love to see.
You realize you just gave me the okay to be right up front.
Barrier.
I would love that. It's exactly what I'm trying to give you, full confidence to be up front.
But
okay, I diverted from your question, but I just wanted to give you guys
thank you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much.
So how did it vary? So Woman on the Internet album 1 I made in COVID times. So that was a marked difference in both the writing and the recording phase. It was very like solitary. Mm-hmm. It gave me like a focus. So I live in London, and I have a really, really small kind of little studio writing room that's like separate to my flat, and luckily that stayed open in COVID time. So I fell into this little routine where I would like wake up, go for a walk, whatever, and then go to this studio and kind of work on my album, and it just gave a lot of shape to that time for me. But it was lonely, and it was very like, it was hard to know when to put songs down, because there was no like
feedback.
There's no feedback, and there was no life being lived in between. It was just this kind of real bubble.
Like such a weird time. I look back now.
So weird. And I released my album kind of at the end of that time. I mean, it was like summer 21, so it wasn't deep like first lockdown. It was like that stage where everyone was like totally sick of all the lockdowns. All the snow day novelty was gone, and everyone was just like so sick of it. Yeah. And so it was a weird time to release an album, because in one way it was good. Everyone had like, I think people had a lot of focus to give new things. Like I think we all had a lot of headspace for like TV shows, films, albums, maybe a bit more so than now. I think it's, we're releasing music now, you're kind of trying to cut through a lot of noise, and we're all kind of bombarded again. So there was something interesting about releasing at that time, but it also, I'm interested, I get a lot of people saying like, your album reminds me of a horrible time. Oh, nice. I'm like, oh, sorry. But yeah, the difference was, it was much more collaborative second time. Yeah. A lot less solitary. Yeah. A lot more life being lived in and around the making, and that was much more inspiring. Like I found the writing the second time much easier. I was making it in between doing the Fizz kind of album and the album campaign, so it was less like this is my thing to think about for 2-3 months, and more like steal a day here, steal a weekend there. Yeah. And so it was kind of more the second album I was dipping in and out, whereas album 1 it was my entire personality for.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was. You were doing both at the same time.
Well, no, I was doing. Yeah, we were releasing the Fizz album, so we were kind of doing all the promo,
press stuff.
Yeah. And then in between that, I was kind of stealing moments to do Everybody Needs Hero.
Was it recorded at Middle Farm, or is that just?
It was.
It was
both. So both the Fizz, all of these albums.
Were they?
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys will live there. It's like rural England. This place called Devon.
That's like one of your dream places to visit, right?
I'm going to tell you.
You know Middle Farm?
I'm a little bit of a weird creep, okay?
Oh my God, I love this.
I went on to, Google Earth View, and I drove the whole way there. And then I'm looking off to the left, and it's, oh my God, I'm just going to cry. It was, just green pastures. And this one, you've driven it, obviously. It's, what happens if another car comes down? That thing is so. That
Such
road
a good
is,
question.
Yeah, you back all the way
Pete,
up?
who runs the studio, a guy called Pete Miles, who's amazing. A real I'd go as far as to say a Rick Rubin character. Like, even visually, Pete is this big beard,
Yeah.
and the way he approaches like creativity is it's quite Rick. It's very kind of spiritual, serve the art. Like, he's amazing.
He's got a clipboard.
He's got a clipboard. He's got a clipboard. He actually bought Rick Rubin's book for me.
Oh,
This is how
really?
yeah. So he's great, but he's lived in that area for a long time, and he will do those country roads like so fast. It's
No.
really scary. Yeah. Well, he knows he could probably do it with his eyes closed. He knows where every single turn is now, and you know the studio is quite remote, so you have to drive there, or at least drive there from the train station. So
Yeah, I
I
just
love
can't
that you've
imagine.
done that drive. That's so nice.
Well, I can't, but it's so narrow that I'm thinking, like, if you're flying up there in another car, it's like,
What do
you
you
guys
do?
fight off? You
Someone
go back.
just has to kind of wait and like nudge into the hedge. It's
little
kind
bit.
of a little bit of a kind of bartering thing, but
Yeah.
but yeah, both my albums and the Fizz album were all done there.
Oh, that's great.
It's an amazing space.
So it for that studio there, it's a really I'm gonna say live off the floor type of feel, right?
Mm.
Like you're going and you're looking in each other's eyes type of thing.
Yeah,
Like-
right in the eyes.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. It's true. Like Pete prides himself on like capturing a moment. It's not like production in a careful, getting obsessed with plugins way.
Meticulous
It's
way.
like
Yeah.
capturing a feeling, capturing a moment, not wanting to overthink it. That's what Pete's really good at. Because the Fizz album that we made, and I tried to take a bit of this into when I made my second album. It was done so quickly. It was like written and recorded at the same time. When we did Close One, like this, like maybe the second time I'd sang through the whole thing, and then that's the final vocal.
That was really.
There's just no like the distance, the A to B of the song is like just really like narrow, and then you remove the overthinking, the overcooking,
Yeah.
the like meddling with it, because that happens a lot. I talk to a lot of artist friends about that, like the strive for perfection within like making a song. You can really like squeeze the joy out of it, like in
Yeah,
that.
you
So
know
you kind
that
of sometimes
pretty
need.
well.
I know that very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I didn't know you did music. What do you play?
I play guitar, drums,
Bass,
bass, flute,
what don't you play?
trombone, sing.
And you too, Connor?
No, I play
No,
drums,
drums,
and
yeah.
a little bit of guitar.
Yeah, he's playing guitar, but
You got drums here?
yeah, we got a Roland kit in there and a
Yeah, we'll show you around afterwards.
Yeah.
If you got time.
But I know what you mean though. I was getting into DAWs and I was in there and I started to produce, and I'm a really acoustic player, right? So very clean, like acoustic drums, maybe some piano, and then doing the harmonies and vocals. But then you get into a plugin, and then you've got monks, and you know what I mean? And then you start adding this stuff, and then
There's so many choices.
No, and then you get too carried away.
Yeah.
And then you overthink it. And
Yes.
then my wife has always said, she goes, when you just have the mic and you sing and you're at a performance doing it, that's when it comes across the best.
Yes.
Instead of having all this other stuff. So I totally understand where you
Yeah.
come from on that point, right?
And that's
Yeah.
why that studio would probably be like an ideal type of studio
It's
for
a really
you.
unpretentious space as well, which
Yeah.
I love. Like, I haven't been in a lot of like flashy studios, but
Yeah.
every now and then in London, like there'll be an opportunity in some way to go to, you know, Abbey Road, or there's one called Rack, and these are obviously big kind of flagship legacy studios. But
Yeah.
I find those places like so sterile. Like you don't,
Yeah.
you know, they'll come and give you a tour and be like, you know, Elton John played on this piano, and I'm like, no, I feel silly playing on this piano. Like that's turning me off playing the piano. So
Yeah.
I think whereas Middle Farm's like big converted barn,
Yeah.
really approachable. Nothing's like off limits. Pete's not really like, there's not really that much flashy gear. It's not like there's nothing expensive, so you can just kind of stay up late. You can sit your drinks on the amps. Like it's
Yeah,
not,
I-
you
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
you feel
Don't
very
put that there.
comfortable.
Don't put that there.
I'd be
Yeah,
scared
it's not a
in the
museum. It's
Abbey.
not a museum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes you relax automatically.
100%.
Right? Like
yeah, you would love it
Cigarettes
there.
on the floor.
I really want you to be able to go now. Now that
Yeah.
you've done the drive on Google Maps, you'd absolutely love it there.
Okay, I'll talk to you when you're heading back, but maybe I'll jump on the plane with you guys and go that way. But you guys have to. You're going April, like back home, April 20th or April 18th, right?
From here.
No.
No. You
Yeah, no.
continue the tour, right?
Yeah, you continue.
Oh,
no,
yes.
you continue the tour, but you head
Yes,
back.
I was like, really, that is a long time. Yes, yeah, no, you're right.
Can I throw another question?
Oh my god, 100%.
Okay. This is what's the Let me get this one straight. Can we cut this? Boom. What's the most difficult part of being an independent artist, and what's the most enjoyable part?
Oof. The most difficult part is... that's a really good question. I'll start with the more enjoyable part then.
Okay.
I'll start with the positive. Having the control, being the boss is the prize of doing it this way, because I don't know, I'm obsessed, kind of in the same vein as what we were saying, the A to B of like the journey of a song or an album, having the idea and then what comes out at the end. When you're an independent artist and there's not that many cooks in the kitchen, that journey just doesn't have that many steps.
Yeah.
Whereas when you work with a bigger team, a bigger label, a label team of 30 people, there's just a lot of like different people that need to sign off, maybe give input. There's just a lot of steps, and like somewhere along the way, from what I've seen in artists that I'm a fan of, sometimes the joy or the magic or whatever the spark is
taken away,
can get lost like somewhere between that A and B, and it's sometimes hard to even pinpoint what it is. But there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen with like a big team. When someone else is funding you, they might want to say on how the song sounds or what songs make the track list. And I really love and like cherish, and it's not lost on me, but I love being able to call those shots, and not having anyone over my shoulder going, no, that's not a single, it's like I can't even picture that for myself. I think that's really, really hard. I mean, I have a lovely team around me, great manager, and like a distribution system, so I have a way of like getting my vinyls in the shops and like the mechanics of getting a record out. I do have that support, but it's like a really small thing, and I have a Patreon like you guys do, and fund a lot of what I do through that. So it suits me. I think it suits my personality to do things this way, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And like sometimes I meet artists who talk to me about the independent route, and I always want to be careful not to over romanticize it, because it's such a conversation at the moment now. Like people
go indie.
Everyone's obsessed with owning your masters, which is like a great a great conversation to have. I weirdly think like Taylor Swift, think what we may of her, like the conversation she started about what it means to own your own masters is really interesting. It's become much more like common jargon to know what that means. So a lot of artists want to do that. I don't
think people were really discussing it before Taylor Swift went and did I don't know which one she did first, but went and redid her album, whichever album she chose to do first, but get the masters back, or not get the masters back, but remake that was brilliant. It was a pretty like powerful move. Whether you're a Taylor Swift fan or not, I think that just that's a really it sparked a conversation, which I think is really important.
Big time.
Would you say the negative side of things is maybe like the feet pics that you were talking about on your story?
Took me a second.
What are the feet pics?
So when we were on the way here, there's an artist called Kate Nash. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know Kate Nash.
She's amazing. And Kate Nash is on tour at the moment, and had posted she has started an OnlyFans to fund her touring.
Was it?
It's a little. It's butts for tour buses or something.
Yeah, something. I like
and it's pretty tongue in cheek, and I fully not that was amazing, and I didn't even mean to. But it's kind of like I'm fully like on board, but I'm also like deeply sad that it would come to that. I hope it starts a conversation about why is it so expensive to tour? Why is it so difficult? But all power to her making it work. But I put something on my story saying, God, the bandwagon that we're in is broken down so many times. I'm glad I didn't waste my feet picture opportunity on paying for this. But to go back to the feet pics or around it, the downside of being an independent artist is the risk financially. It's so scary. And I just there's not always like a big cushion to fall on. I think when things go wrong on a tour or in a campaign, you can throw money at it. Money always kind of makes the problem go away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas I don't have that. So that's always a little scary. It's always a little scary. But I think that's just the toss up. There's always like a price to pay. And
I'm going to tell you, with my gut, I think you're going to be all right. I think no, I really mean that. You have a special talent. Your association and your love for your fans that is something that is just going to keep building and building the way that you interact with your fans, and that fan base is going to be there loyal for you, like like
album after album, tour after tour.
Yeah, so
I really feel that. I think this tour
Yeah.
that I'm on now is really affirming, because I like a lot of the people that are coming to the shows have waited like 7, 8, 9 years, and I think it speaks to, like, I mean, a lot of things, but like it speaks to me being on an earlier version of the internet, I think, where people could get more invested. It was like YouTube is more was my thing, more so than like TikTok, when there's like artists get the spike, it can be a little more transient, a little more quick.
Yeah.
So I really feel the loyalty the last couple of weeks, because I'm just getting so many people going, oh my God, I've waited for this for 8 years. I'm like, I can't believe anyone would wait that long. So I do feel very lucky. But no, it's true. I put a lot of stock into like making those people, especially those like core people, feel included. And we're touring at the moment with this big like Wheel of Fortune of songs.
That's
That was
one
made.
of your
Oh, I've
questions on
skipped
there.
forward on the clipboard. Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't show you before.
But I just think it's a good example.
Exactly.
That
was Sam.
Someone on my Patreon called Sam, exactly,
yeah.
who made this wheel, and I've been talking to Sam for like a month, talking about the wheel base and like the axis, and like we've been trying to figure out, neither of us are like little mechanics, but we've had a great time just going back and forth. And
I love that.
I love it.
Now this big wheel, this massive sort of wheel, is traveling with us across the country, and it's just so sweet that it was made by someone who had a ticket to the show. Not, I'd much rather give someone like that money to make something for the show than like someone that doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And that will probably be something that sticks with your fan base, and like you might bring it back on your next tour, and the people that know about it will be really happy, and then there'll be new people that don't know about it but are intrigued with the idea. You never know with things like that, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I know we skipped ahead to you wanted to talk about it.
I can scrap this thing whole, the Rick Rubin thing. Now that you piqued my interest, how do you decide who gets to spin the wheel?
I feel the pressure every day, like, because
You're
I'm biased.
asking because you're
Okay, yeah.
He's
I
trying
understand. If you're in the front row, you'll definitely have a good chance, because usually I'm finding that the venues are dark, and I can usually only see the first like 2 or 3 rows. So there's a heavy bias to the people in the front getting picked.
Because I think there's a bit of a dancing thing involved, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
There's a song. There's a song for the Wheel of Fortune. But people have been really good with the dancing. I mean, a couple of people come up the last couple of nights with something that looks a little choreographed, to in a cool way. So I'm completely up for it. But
if you want something to go crazy viral tonight, then just pick this over 50-year-old guy.
little body rolls, slut drops. Then
put up my back.
Please. Yeah, no, it's been fun. All praise the will.
Should I keep going?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't.
I'm here.
You just say.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna song selection on. I'm gonna say Everybody Needs a Hero. I called it.
Ina.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Opening with a down-tempo track like Both Can Be True feels like you're really introducing yourself to the listener. And I was wondering, how much time do you spend on song placement when you reach that point? Or do you ever think about where a song should sit in the context of an album while you're in the actual writing process? I know I'm going deep here, but
I absolutely love it.
I'm thinking, when you're sitting there and you're writing that track, do you go, you know what, this should be the opener? Or
yeah, I think so. I mean, I've only made 2 albums now, so it's, I suppose, 3 including Fizz. So it's kind of always learning. I do think every now and then, it's kind of like a little patchwork. I think as I was writing, like whatever, like song track 3 is always very clear to me. Like when track 3 is usually like a single or like a big, in my mind, is like one of the main things, and like track 7 or 8 you kind of want to have another one that people recognize, because I think so much about how music is released now with singles, and I think it's hard to know what's right, but I like as a listening experience for as a fan, I like not to have all the ones I've already heard in a row, for example. Just something functional like that.
I
like
completely agree.
The album comes out, there's nothing worse than someone who's like gone too ham on the singles.
The first 4 songs are
7 of the 12 are already out, and then you're
yeah.
kind of just you feel a little shortchanged when the vinyl comes or whatever. So so I think having the first like first of all, having the opening track be something new, that feels like vital to me for some reason. But yeah, I really liked the idea of that one going first. I mean, I'm at way back and at my core, I'm like a singer-songwriter. I like struggle with that term a bit sometimes because there's just like so many like overly earnest singer-songwriters that I don't relate to in a way. Like
there's so many different. It's such
hard.
a broad term.
So broad.
Yeah.
So
As a format, like as someone who like writes songs on guitar and piano, like that is me. But it's like as a genre, I struggle with it for some reason. But anyway, really that is like where I come from. So opening with Both Can Be True just felt quite correct to me. It felt like back to the beginning to have something really sparse and then
That's exactly.
and
how
then
I
have
felt.
the production can come in later.
Yeah, I don't know why when I hear like the term singer songwriter, I just think of like early Ed Sheeran. Like that's like what
I didn't want to say Ed Sheeran, but it's someone who comes to mind. Yeah, I just
I like his music, but I'm not like saying it in a bad way. But it's just that's what I tend to think of when I hear singer songwriter.
See, I go way back. I go back to like the 70s. I go to like the Harry Chapman, Neil Young's, Joni
Bob
Mitchell,
Dylan.
Bob
Yeah,
Dylan,
Bob
Joni
Dylan.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
That kind of like that for me growing up was the singer songwriter.
Yeah, I think for
Right?
me the reason I think Ed Sheeran is just he's the most kind of like recent one in my brain that like is kind of gone, like superstar. I mean, there's been other ones obviously, but for some reason I just go to Ed Sheeran. I don't know why.
I know what you mean though. I think my struggle with it for some reason is like I think there was a period of singer-songwriter where everything got like very serious and very earnest. And I love a sad song. It's not like I love a sad song, but I think of like you've got a Fiona Apple record behind your head. Like that's the kind of singer-songwriter that I love and want to sit with. It's like I want singer-songwriters to have personality. You know what I mean? And humor and like just have like not just kind of it can be a bit indulgent. I guess that's the side of singer-songwriter that I like just can't relate to sometimes.
Ed Sheeran and Fiona Apple, both great artists, both singer-songwriters, but totally different, so it's I totally understand what you mean.
I'm waiting for you to introduce me to like the full Elliott Smith experience.
You haven't listened to any Elliott
so
Smith yet, or Fiona Apple. Have you listened to any Fiona Apple?
You know what? I don't. I know I have maybe a single or two, but not the whole. Yeah.
Those are some
the whole experience, right?
We'll have to.
We'll have
I think
to
you'll
get
love it.
Yeah, because that's what you're looking at. I have another question, by the way.
I'm in.
Go for it.
I know. I feel bad with this clipboard now. I feel like I'm like a librarian or some strange one. Okay, this one here, Orla. When you say "little louder" for the ones in the back in Little Chaos, it reminds me of a bit when Chappell says, "Can you play a song with a fucking beat?" Is that a little nod, or am I just crazy?
It's not an intentional nod, but I love that link. I think I just I like breaking. It's like a little break of the fourth wall, isn't it? It's like identifying in the middle of the song that you're singing the song.
And it goes a little lo-fi, right?
It's like sang through an amp. I like we tracked it like through a guitar amp, so it's all distorted. But I'm enjoying doing it at the shows because I kind of like sort of look at the back of the room. But same kind of thing. It kind of feels like The Office when you like look straight at the camera and you're like, you are listening to a song. So not an intentional link, but I love that idea.
Yeah. And single was, or your cover was phenomenal. I watched it. I just only saw snippets of it, and then I was like, I got to see the whole thing. So today I watched the whole.
Oh, I only put it up today. You're hot off the press.
I was super hot off the press. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I was uploading it on the bus.
It was about, I think, at 1:00.
Yeah, you were like I think you were.
You might have been view
first.
number one.
Yeah, I didn't comment.
You were one of those people that comment first.
I should have said first.
First.
The first.
I love when people say first.
I love when people say first, and it's like they're clearly not the first. They're like 12th, or like sometimes people do that on our video. They'll say first, and like it will be like 2 days later, and I'll pin it because it's funny. I like it.
There's something pure about like finding a part of the internet and wanting to like put your flag in it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
I think Connor only started this whole thing so he could watch, some of the stupid things I say when I'm dead.
Well,
there's some truth to that.
Maybe
there is a bit of truth.
You guys are gonna have a lot of footage of yourselves together to keep that. Isn't that nice? That's a nice thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And growing up together, it's been crazy. You know that?
been 3 years.
Like really,
yeah.
it's been a lot of changes in our lives, and you know,
there's a lot of hours of footage. I realize now.
yeah, it's been a wild experience. I wouldn't be sitting here if it. I'll just tell you.
No.
Yeah, I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for him, because I fell out of love with music. I was in a corporate job selling restaurant equipment. Just didn't even listen to music anymore. Like, I mean, music makes me cry. Music gives me the goosebumps or the frisson in French, I think it's called frisson.
Yeah.
And I actually lost that
Feeling.
just that feeling, and then he brought it back to me. So I'll always be grateful for you to, just for the rest of my life, that you brought me back to music. And I know artists like Orla, and you know just these just being in, and one thing about what's so great about that, at being my age, and I'm not going to give my age, 75,
Yeah.
I'm super in tune with everything that's going on musically right now,
Yeah, well, I was thinking that, like, you're not just a music fan, you're like an on the pulse.
which I think the last dinner party said something about that. It's called what?
They said like Radio 6 Dad.
Radio 6,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that, right?
They said you would like
That's
qualify.
a good thing, by the way. Like,
Is it?
because
Yeah.
Radio 6 in the UK is like, it's a tasteful channel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's classy.
Yeah.
So it's like Fontaine's would be on
Yeah.
Oh,
Radio
cool.
6.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's cool. It's not, it's like current credible music.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Mercury Prize
Yeah.
kind of energy. So
Yeah,
that's a compliment. Although Radio 6 dads get a little bit of a rap for sort of the less fun end of the Radio 6 dad, which I don't think you'd fall into this category. Sort of, you picture them at shows, they're wearing like leather waistcoats, and they're kind of grumpy, and they're kind of like, this is like the good old days, but they're also a little bitter.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I won't be tonight.
No, but you're
No.
you're the most wholesome end of it. I love that they said that. That's sick.
I just said I won't be tonight.
No, but they're just how alive your love is for it is
Yeah.
why it's
That's
lovely.
why they
It's
called
so
you
nice
a Radio
to
6
see.
Dad.
Okay,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that I'll take anything at this age.
As a compliment.
Okay, I have one other thing here. I saw you on Tiny Desk with Dodie.
Mm.
I watched that. You were playing the piano. You were brilliant on that. I was wondering if something that Tiny Desk is something you'd like to do in the future.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
There's nothing I would love more.
Yeah.
It's like if anything I could do to make that happen. It's obviously it's a very popular desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very
yeah.
popular desk.
Okay, everybody watching, we need to make this happen, okay?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what you do. How do you do it? You send them submissions or something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's just, I think it's such a beautiful thing. I think Tiny Desk is like a very it's a very like important thing, because
Yeah,
I think
I'm so glad. I'm so thankful for it.
yeah,
some
and it was
of the
lovely to
episodes.
get to do it with Dodes and kind of experience it a little bit more in the background and just see, because Bob Boylan, whose desk it is, who I think has retired not too long ago in the last couple of months, so they're obviously keeping it going, but it really was his working desk. Like you go in and you record the session, he literally like moves his laptop and he's working things off it, and then you finish the session and he puts it all back on. Like that's just his desk, and the sound is always phenomenal. I mean, I'm sure you guys geek out about that, but like
yes, it's crazy.
I felt really starstruck meeting the sound engineer. I think his name is Robin. I was really like, he was the real celebrity to me that day. I was just, because I think what he does to capture the sound
incredible.
without mics in the face, it's really impressive.
It's done so well. I wanted to ask you, when you were on the keys, right? And you're looking left. I never see left. I think I've only seen it once. But you're looking out. Is the crowd just, how deep is it?
It's they kind of, I think how it works is so it's all the NPR staff, and I think, I'm not sure how often they record them, but I think they just sort of put a call out to the office to say, this artist is recording a Tiny Desk today, come down on your lunch break if you like. So I'm sure that crowd, like, you know, I'm sure the size of it changes depending on who's rolling through. Yeah. But it is just people who work in the office. It's not fans.
Yeah.
It's not an open thing. It's a really lovely atmosphere. So yeah, I must have been just looking out to the crowd, and I couldn't tell you how much, maybe like 20 people there.
Okay, it's
something.
not like in the hundreds.
No.
Okay,
and
okay.
it's so intimate in how it's recorded. I don't think you could even have that many people, because
Might ruin it.
there's no PA. It's not like a venue.
Yeah.
They're just hearing whatever you're hearing in the room.
Wow.
Oh, so there's nothing shooting out to them?
I think they do project a little bit of the
little bit,
vocal,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think it really is like a a live thing that you're just kind of hearing. There's no person mixing in front of house for the for the NPR staff. So
no strobe lights.
It does sound a bit different than it would on the video, but I think it really helps the atmosphere to be performing to someone. I think it puts artists in more of a live show mode than a live session mode.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. But yeah, it's my dream. It will happen when
It'll happen
when the time is right, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel the same about this tour for me. Like, it's been a really long time coming, and I, for years, was thinking, oh God, I'd love to go over to North America and do the thing. And but I'm so glad it didn't happen. 5 years ago now. I feel much more ready for it. So same thing for Tiny Desk. It's all these things happen if they do at the right time for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I have a question that's not on your board because it just came to my mind now. But if you were to do a Tiny Desk today, what three songs? What 3 songs are you doing?
Oof, that's a really good question, and something that would stress me out no end, because I think it's always interesting whether the artist picked the new songs or not. I think it's nice to have a spread. I think it's either 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah, I've seen 4 sometimes.
I definitely do a song or 2 from the new record. Like Little Chaos is quite fun.
Do that last? Would you do? Maybe?
Yeah, I think so. That one usually works out well last. But it's a perfect setting for like an intimate song, even more so than a gig. Like, you can really strip it back. So there's a song called Mine on the new record, and I think that one would go down well. But then I'd probably throw it back and put in something from Woman on the Internet, perhaps, because I think it's nice to have a spread.
Or you bring in the wheel, get someone from NPR
to oh my gosh, that actually, I think that would I completely improvise and make the band learn like 20 songs.
Totally. Speaking of the band, here's my question. You have such an amazing band this tour. Could you tell us a little about Sarah and Scarlett and how you guys met?
I would love to.
They are so
good.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Oh my God, they are. I literally want to cry thinking about them. I think we're all sort of, semi-trauma bonded by the logistical tour chaos of the last couple of weeks in the best way. Like, I can't tell you how nice the atmosphere has been, even though we've had so many things go wrong. Everyone's just been laughing like throughout the whole thing. I've not like belly laughed like I have on this tour in so long, which testament to their just character. And it's gnarly. Like, we've not got backline text, guitar text with us. Like, everyone's setting up their own stuff. Wow. I've managed to get offload in today, but I'm always like, I'm carrying things in. I'm not, there's no one there to do that for me. So it's really like hands on deck. But Sarah's played for me for a long time, maybe 6 years, and we met, I think, just through a recommendation. It was initially myself and a guy called Pete on bass, and then Sarah. I really wanted another girl in the band, so that's how it started when we kind of put feelers out. She's a proper rocker.
She's a mad player. She's good.
Really digs in. Really fun to watch. Yeah. And really has like a lot of personality when she plays. And because we've been playing together for so long, I think this really nice thing has happened where it's subconscious, but I find myself like writing to her style of playing.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think wanting to kind of go a little higher with the energy and like grit things up, especially like early EPs. Like, I think knowing that Sarah would be the one drumming really made me want to just turn it up to 11 a bit more.
Well, that's interesting.
It all kind of feeds in, I think. And then Scarlett's a new addition. And this is only Scarlett's second tour with us, and she is playing bass, keys, and singing the most amazing harmonies. She's phenomenal. And I think to find all of those roles in one person, I thought would honestly be kind of unrealistic, because only 3 of us up there. It's a lot to ask of someone, but oh my God, she excels at all of them, and she's also just great performer. Really fun to watch. I think for just 3 people, I'd like to think it's like, I think we can bring the energy, but it's the kind of band where if you've got 6 or 7 people, you can have a few people that kind of sit back and just play the parts. But when there's only 3 of you up there, like, everyone kind of needs to be
right up there,
the most animated, most and they're both just I struck gold.
Yeah, they're fantastic. It's like I watched you guys on the bus at one point. I forget what Sarah was doing, but it was just some vocalizations that was making.
Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah. Oh my God, It's a
theme from something, right?
Is it?
Do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a theme from like a.
If you can help me identify, I don't know, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
madness of the tour delusion,
know
like
what?
it's her thing.
I think I'm thinking of like Hannah Montana or something. You know what? That's probably what I'm thinking.
The
of.
ad libs that are the transitions.
Yeah, the
but
transitions.
yeah.
That's probably what I'm thinking of, but it's probably not it.
It's amazing. She does it like at such an insane volume. If she wasn't so charming, it would be the most annoying thing.
Does she do BGs on that with the mic or no?
She doesn't. Was it actually the funny thing is that Sarah does have a mic on stage. You'll see tonight, but
Yeah.
it's a talkback mic. It's
okay.
it's a functional thing to talk to our ears.
Okay.
She's a great singer, but she's busy drumming during the show.
Yeah.
And but she sometimes does. So yeah, that mic is there. If we had to start a song in the middle, that mic is there for her to go, let's start from verse 2. It's just a way of communicating to
Yeah.
us and Jamie at front of house. But she does sing backing vocals down it a lot, which is funny because it's purely
For you guys.
for us. Like they don't come out front of house. So when she's got like a spare moment just to purely like make us laugh, she's often singing like the odd BV.
That's
But it
so
like
cute.
it doesn't. The audience isn't even hearing.
They don't even know.
Yeah, she's amazing.
You have what's your?
I've got. I know we're running close here.
No, you're good.
You have a. Do you want to go towards the last question, or do you have?
I just wanted to ask you: is there being from Canada?
Yeah,
is there
that's
any
the last question, right?
Canadian artists that have inspired you?
Gosh, that's a really good question.
We always look to the United States, being Canadian. We look to the UK.
We looked at the UK a lot.
a lot. Yeah, we
A
really.
lot. There's a lot of UK music does
Oh,
does well
it's
here.
Yeah.
Very.
Who
yeah.
are your favorite Canadian artists? I'm basically I know there are a load of people from over here. But I'm drawing a blank. I don't embarrass
You
myself.
want to go me first? I'll go.
Yeah, you go nuts.
Neil Young,
Of course.
Leonard Cohen, Joni Mitchell,
Joni.
and let me think. Who else is Canadian? I'll go with a more recent one. Do you know the band Godspeed You Black Emperor? Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
They're a really good band from Montreal.
Sick.
And what about you? You've probably got some.
Well, I'm going to go back. Right away. The Tragically Hip.
Yes.
I'm going to go to like bit classic bands that I grew up with, like Platinum Blonde and Rush and and bands like that, right? And singer songwriters. Like I cannot not say that Bryan Adams was not a big huge part of my life growing up. Watching him for the first time at the Pacific Coliseum, where Sabrina and Declan played, I got the cheapest seats, but it ended up I was like right directly across from him, and he was right on the other side, and he had his black Strat with a maple neck, which I just finally ended up getting one. I was 15 when he came on tour, and he was right across from me, and I was totally doing Run to You in the air, D, G. And so he was a big influence on me, right? So but we do look a lot to. It's funny being Canadian. I think, do you find it too, is like we don't really, we have a lot, like we have so many artists, The Weeknd and Drake and Celine Dion and Shania Twain. We have these huge artists. Bieber, like there's, but we always look to somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like it's always that way. We always look to another.
I found that with Ireland and the UK sometimes as well. The sort of, I don't know, the neighboring, the smaller neighboring place to the bigger place. It's like hard not to, mush it all in. But I almost forgot about Joni, which I feel awful. That's exactly like I knew that I just wouldn't come to mind.
She's
obviously
looking at you right now.
I know. Oh my God, what I would have done to be at those.
No, I mean physically. She's.
Yeah, we have an album behind you.
I thought you meant like she's sort of angry at you forgetting she's Canadian, which fair enough. I would have killed it. I'm sure you saw the footage of the LA.
Yes.
Oh my God, I would have given a limb to be there. It looked so amazing.
What? Kudos to Brandy for everything that Brandy's done.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So beautiful seeing the two of them
together.
And the way she kind of helps her through the different verse. It's so moving. Those first videos when they did the Newport Folk Festival. Yeah. When was that? Maybe like 2 years ago when they first.
It's been a while. Yeah.
And I think it was just billed as Joni Jam. Like people didn't. Yeah. I don't think people even knew Joni herself would be there. I think they thought it was like a Joni tribute. Kind of covers thing.
That's kind of what I thought.
And there she was on her throne, and it's like such a lovely collection of people. Like Marcus Mumford's there, and
Yeah.
like Blake Mills, Brandy, and it's
Imagine going to that thinking it was going to be a Joni tribute.
And then
thing.
and then Joni is there having relearned to play guitar.
Wow. Yeah.
Like from scratch, from watching old videos of her. Like
Yeah.
I cried my eyes out. Like I
Yeah.
just
Was it the Grammy performance where
You were crying.
I
Yeah,
literally
I think
lost
it was a Grammy. She
It was a
did-
Grammy.
She did both sides now. was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I still can't. Why do you even say that? Because I'm going to start.
crying.
it's beautiful.
That is like that for me is the song that's just.
Oh my god, that song.
Do you mind playing that right now if you don't?
I like to know. It's just it's an unbelievable. She's actually going back to kind of the struggle with the term singer songwriter. Like she to me is obviously the ultimate singer songwriter
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
her personality is just woven into every single line and chord choice. It's not. You can tell she did her own thing, just followed her own instincts with it all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And no interruption A to B. You know, obviously Blue for most singer songwriters is just kind of
Yeah.
pivotal record, and it's
Yeah.
just so much personality, so much
Yeah.
storytelling. It's so funny.
Yeah, Joni.
She's
I-
perfect.
Yeah, I remember when we did the when Canada did the response to the UK's
version of
the
We Are the World. There's We Are the World, which is in the U.S.
the UK ones of. Do you know it's Christmas? Do you know it's Christmas time? And then Canada did their version, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember Bryan Adams walking into the studio with Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, and at the time, I didn't understand the significance of Joni's writing. It was like, well, I was quite young, and they walked in the studio, and Bryan Adams was like,
He was your hero.
my hero, but he was like gobsmacked, mouth wide open
When he
met Joni.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and then now I know, like it all came full circle to me. I'm like, holy shit, you know.
As you got older.
As I got older, yeah.
Yeah, I think what I love about Joni that I really, and I love this with loads of artists, but I really love when you can trace the next generation of artists that have been influenced by the
yes.
original, and I think that to me is like so special about Joni. It's like you can just you can kind of bunny hop through
Yeah.
and go, I can tell like the next generation of singer songwriters
Almost like decade by decade, you can see.
who and then
Yeah.
flip their vocal up and do all this kind of
Yeah.
that kind of style
Yeah.
of singing, and like it's just so Joni. And then there's like generation 2 and then there's generation 3, and like
yeah.
I find that with like there's a lot of Irish artists like the Cranberries.
Cranberries,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I hear that style of singing that is so kind of Celtic in my mind. It's very like Dolores from the Cranberries and Sinead O'Connor. Like I hear that kind of singing, and even like Chapel Roan or
a
Moona.
little bit, yeah.
So it's like it's kind of, I don't know, I love that kind of
when you can, yeah.
That's-
tracing the
that's- yeah.
style
Yeah.
back is
Yeah.
so cool.
It's cruel that everybody picks like a little chunk of something, right?
I wonder sometimes if it's like, I don't know if it's like them, being a fan of the artist, or if it's like subconsciously they've heard the music and
Yeah.
are picking it up. I have no idea, but because these artists are so big, of course, so you're going to hear their music
And pick up little elements.
here
and
as a
there, yeah.
songwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful. I think seeing artists take their influences and interpreting them in their own way
Yeah.
Yes.
is
Yeah.
kind of natural.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it lets like different styles like live on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake. I've told many of the artists that we've talked to, I made the mistake of shutting off music for like 10 years. Like literally not, because I didn't want to infringe and take other people's.
Oh, you found
Style.
yourself copying them.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But I didn't want to. So I stopped listening to music completely, and I started. But that was the worst thing, because I realized
Kinda
now.
got stuck.
Yeah, like learning covers and learning other people's music and listening to Radiohead and just all this stuff. You start to morph and you get your own style, and then you come out with it in the end, right? Because your true self will come out. Like it's not going to be. I'm not going to be doing. Like a exact copy of Weird Fishes or something. It'll come out in the end, right? And
Yeah.
So I don't think I did myself a favor by.
Well, and I think nowadays with just the amount of music you consume, I think it'd be impossible for you to really like copy one sound, because the amount of music you consume is and across all genres is so
Yeah.
vast.
Yeah.
Like if you put out a song.
Like Kendrick.
Yeah, like it would have elements of Kendrick with, Radiohead
And Orla.
Kojak.
Orla, and
Kojak,
there'd be Kojak in there, and Last Dinner Party.
Yeah.
It would be a very either an amazing song or probably one of the worst pieces of music ever. I'm excited for when you release your first single.
Yeah.
Let's announce that now today. No.
I want to hear.
Yeah.
No, you've been working on stuff though.
I have.
The last
Yeah.
while. Yeah, you've been
That's sick.
getting
Yep.
a lot back into music. So
Yeah, it took a while, but I think
it makes me really happy because I grew up watching you work on music. At the old house, you built a little studio.
Yeah, and playing.
then music just disappeared for 15 years.
He took me for a walk around the lake that's nearby, and we walked, and he was like, I remember you were quite young too, and he said, why did you stop doing the one thing that makes you really happy? And I was like, man, this is like, and then I was like,
I think I was like 15 or something.
Yeah.
I was just asking out of
but
I was not
really,
trying to throw you into
but
existential
it just
crisis.
literally,
But you did.
but he did. Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
best way, though. So when someone who cares about you that much
Yeah.
points that out to you.
Yeah, and
That's
I was
a
like,
big-
wow, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
I have another one. This is
Please
there
do.
are 20 dates left, I believe, left on this tour, ending in Dublin on April 12th.
Yes.
Was there a city that you were really looking forward to playing on this tour? Like a one that you like, oh, okay, this is
Or a
gonna-
venue.
Or venue, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's we played in Third Man Records in Detroit, which is Jack White's.
That's
Yes.
That was
I
really
told you about it, yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
yeah, tell me
You'd
about it.
love that there. Well, they have
Yeah.
one in Nashville where he lives now, and then Detroit is where he's from.
yeah.
I think they actually have one in London as well. But that was really cool because
They're pressing too, right?
they're pressing. There's a whole vinyl pressing plan in the
Mhm.
back where they press not just the Third Man releases, but they're just a vinyl pressing
Yeah.
plant for hire. They have like a couple of studios, like a mastering room. The place is built for touring musicians. So even though it's a small venue, like they have a lovely green room.
Yeah.
They had a little shower area with like paracetamol. I don't know, just everything. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure lots of like weathered touring people like
Yeah.
roll through, and they know exactly what everyone wants. It was a real like retreat in the middle of the
Oh,
tour. They
sweet.
treated us so well. And so in the front is the retail space where it's a regular record shop and a lot of like Third Man merch, which is all really beautiful. And then the venue is in that space, so it's like a multi-use building, and it
Really,
was
yeah.
just it was so
It looked
nice.
fantastic.
It was great.
I had to run and show Connor the picture. I'm like, check this out.
Yeah, that's a really special room. So that was good, and I really enjoyed. Less so the venue was great as well, but I had never been to Montreal, so I was excited about that
Yeah.
as a first. Because Dodie hadn't been there on her tours, so that was like a new place for me. I loved it. Very
Yeah,
cold.
Montreal's
Very cold.
It's freezing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even like close to how cold it's going to get. Like
No,
in
no.
a couple months,
Yeah.
if you go back to, don't go back in a couple months is what I'm saying.
But people had come from really remote parts of Canada. I was getting a real education. People had come from St. John's
Really?
Yeah,
to
Newfoundland.
Montreal from Newfoundland.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess because that's the closest place they
Well,
could go see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really, I loved that. There was a lot of people from really, someone had taken like a 20-hour train, and they were kind of showing me, I was just learning a lot about the geography beyond the cities, and it was really cool.
Yeah, we're a huge country, but the cities are so far apart.
It's crazy, yeah.
Like we've had this before where people here were from Canada, and they're like, oh, do you want to meet up in Toronto?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yeah.
well, that's like a 4-day drive. I could meet
5-hour flight.
Yeah, I could meet you there maybe next week if you want. Like,
Yeah.
like it's some people don't realize it. Like, messages will come and say, "Hey, I'm in Canada for I'm visiting Canada.
Can we come? Yeah.
Do you want to hang out? I know you guys are from Canada. I'm in Toronto. Can you get over here?" And we're like, "Yeah, sorry, dude. Like
That's not going to happen. Did you notice an accent from the people from back east?
A little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
Because if you go to Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Charlottetown, and stuff like that, there's a bit
Yeah.
of there's a thick accent.
Yeah, they
That's
sound very Canadian.
Yeah.
To my ears, to my
Completely.
untrained
They
ears.
talk like this, eh?
I love the A.
Yeah.
Do you guys say A?
Oh,
I love-
horribly.
all the time.
Oh no, you don't like it? It's so nice.
It's horrible.
Well, no, people call you out on it. That's why
I
in
know.
the videos because you say it too much.
I say it far. I didn't realize it until people started saying A.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
they'll timestamp
Never
your A.
change. Never
yeah.
change.
Eh?
It's lovely.
How's it going, eh?
Oh, I love that.
Okay, we've come to a part in the show where what are we doing? We do something special.
We'd like to give a gift for you.
Yes.
Coming out to our
home,
and we really appreciate it.
Yes.
So, what do we have here, Dad? You know what? I'll let you do all the
Okay.
all the gift giving.
Okay.
today.
The first thing here is, and we're not sponsored. I just want to. If you want to sponsor us, it's fine.
Please do.
But we're not sponsored, but we just believe in the products because that's probably something you smell in the house right now. And it's a sage, and it's essential oils.
Oh.
Travel kit.
And it's a travel kit. And this is this one here. You can open it up here.
Oh my gosh.
This is
man after my own heart. Domesticated men.
This.
Is this the immune one, Dad?
This well, yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
a package
You have
with
to-
our. We had the logo it right.
You have your own. Oh, I understand. That's great. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
And this is a pocket pharmacy. So you could read, when you open it up, you'll see that there's one for digestion, one for immunity, and you can just roll it on when you're feeling sick, put it in your nose, put it on your
And
your
such
neck,
a gorgeous. Oh my god.
And it's a vegan case, just in case anybody's watching. It's
Guys, oh my gosh. Drummer Sarah is going to be really into this. She's really into like things you put on your temples and
Oh, yeah, this is-
we should have got.
I know,
Why didn't we
yes.
get
No,
two
don't
more?
worry. We can all share. It's perfect. Oh, guys, stress release, much
stress
needed.
release, yeah, you can read them all
For
if
the
you-
next
yeah,
time
yeah.
the drummer freaking walks out. The drummer, no, the driver. Sarah, please, we need you. Oh, this is
Please don't walk-
great. Thanks.
Please don't walk out.
I have a gift for you, but it's not wrapped and it's just in my pocket and there's only one. But we've been selling Everybody Needs a Hero carabiners. So,
I'm not wearing
This
mine right
is
now, but
crazy.
that's weird timing. I've been wearing a carabiner
and it's a
for my
proper, it's a
keys.
decent size. That I wouldn't go climbing on it just in case. Don't sue me or anything. But
I don't climb, but I've been
He
using.
asked me for these last week.
Yeah, literally, not for this one. Like I
No,
didn't
but-
know you sold these. But,
I know. Well, we've only just got them as boring
Yeah.
tour logistics, but they like didn't arrive for a long time
Yeah.
into the tour. So
That's
plenty
thank you so
going on.
much.
oh, guys, you're spoiling me. Thank you. I could cry.
So this is what was this one?
This is a little something for you to read.
oh yeah,
just on the bus.
you were looking into influences. Or
Some of your influences,
your
right?
influences.
And I thought this is an OG.
So you can tell us a little bit about the artist if you are.
Yeah.
Hopefully we didn't get it
Maybe
wrong.
maybe
let's see.
maybe internet's
I
totally
think
wrong. And
you've proved everything right so far.
Yeah.
So who is this? Oh my gosh, Cindy! Look at this.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
from
so-
82, 86.
It's a very old.
What magazine is this?
That's graffiti.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's
there's-
amazing. Where did you get this?
We have a place.
We have a special
You got a
place.
spot?
Yeah.
we can't
oh my god, this
disclose
is
it.
amazing. Oh yeah, you got to keep your sources
Yeah.
close to your chest. This is sick.
Yeah. So that's
Oh
just
my
from
God.
some reading
I'm so
material.
excited. Is there going to be like ads, 80s ads in it and
Yeah,
stuff?
Everything. Yeah.
That's what I love about
little
these.
like Fuji, like tape.
Fuji tape. What does it say there? Your parents or what's that?
It says, "Turn it down.
Oh yeah.
We can't help it. Your dad's going to hate it."
Yeah.
Oh, it's on brand dad
Yeah.
content as well. Oh, guys, thank you. Well, between the oils and the
I think we got
and the
one more
mag,
thing.
I think
Final
the bus
thing.
is. Oh, guys, I'm totally spoiled. I'll give you this back.
Okay. Perfect.
Um,
I'm going to
God,
use
the
this for the
bus
next
is-
interview.
the bus is gonna have reuse.
This
reuse.
it's funny because we just spoke about it, but this is my personal favorite, and you'll see what it is. And I don't know if you own it or if you or not, but I just wanted to give it as a gift. If you don't
Aw.
own it, you can give it to, or if you own it, you can give it to
No,
somebody
I actually
else.
don't own it. So this is amazing, and the fact that it's a CD, we can give it to the driver for these long drives as
I was
well.
thinking, yeah.
We were
'cause
wondering
Oh.
if you had that on the yeah.
That's the one with the
Both sides.
both
now.
sides now, the older version.
Guys, thank you. You're really keeping physical music alive in this house as well.
Yeah.
That's I think
Which
it's
is not
important.
it's
yeah.
not a given. Like it's
Yeah.
it's so different. Not a lot of people like buy CDs anymore.
I
It's
just
just
Yeah.
so
I
sick.
love sitting down with a record. Like I buy most, like the Cure just released an album and I didn't
Yeah.
listen to it on streaming. I trust the Cure, so I went out and bought it before streaming it, physical copy, to listen to it. And I did that I've done that many times. I did that with Sufjan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, where I'll go buy a record, or I do it with pre-orders too, of course. But, you know, I love going to the record store the day an album is released, especially when it's like, you know it's going to be released and you know that they'll have a copy.
So that was
And then-
Fontaines for you.
Yeah, and then coming, I
Yeah.
got the Fontaines.
How amazing is
and,
that Fontaine's album?
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's incredible. And then coming home and putting it on the record player is just something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it, and I just love owning, like, even CDs. You know, because it's like with Spotify is great and it's convenient, but you know, I like having my own collection and I own it. Like, no one can take it from me. They can't.
Yeah.
It can't be blocked if I'm in a country that doesn't.
And if you don't
allow
have
it.
Wi-Fi or something, you can still put it on.
Exactly. You don't
Yeah.
need internet.
Yeah.
My whole album, I still don't know why, but just came down off Spotify for like a day or two, like a few
Yeah,
weeks
they-
ago. It's just like a glitch
I've
in,
had
the,
Really?
glitches
in the
like
back
that.
end, and they
Yeah.
got it back up. But like, there was a moment where I was like, you know, getting messages being like, "Where's your album gone?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Well, bet you're glad you have a vinyl now because I
Yeah.
can't control it."
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's just you know, it's less.
Are you selling
control.
vinyls at the show?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. We'll grab.
I'll get some for you guys.
Yeah.
No,
no.
we'll
We're gonna
support.
We're
We'll-
supporting you.
You
Yeah.
guys are really
We're
you're
supporting you.
keeping it all alive. But it is so beautiful. I'm the same, and I think when you have spent your own money on something, I think you listen to it differently, or you
You do.
value it differently.
You do.
It has a
100%.
different place in your
Yeah.
life, and things that I buy and play, I listen to them more, so I feel more connected to them.
Yeah.
It's just a different exchange, isn't it?
Yeah.
All summer I had 2 CDs in my car, Brat and Charm, Charm by Clairo,
Oh, Clairo.
and then Brat by Charlie, and I just kind of went back and forth because
Two
those-
different moods.
the only 2 moods I had all summer. It was either partying hard or I needed to chill because I had a hangover. So
You did need a break though, because he had like 6 years of a cassette in his old Honda Accord, which was
I had one Dire Straits cassette, and I just listened to it.
It
Was
just
Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms
And
over and
I
over.
never took it out, and I just had it on loop for about how long
5
did
years, 4
I
years.
had that car for about 5 years.
Yeah.
It was when I just learned how to drive, and I got that car, and I just never took it out. And I could probably sing every word on that record. Actually, I'm not going to say that because there's a slur on that record. Actually, I can't.
Almost every word.
Almost
Yeah,
every
yeah.
word on that album I can say. I could probably, like, you know, have you seen those videos where it's like I recreated this song just using my voice?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I could do that with that whole
Yeah.
album.
After your cassette years. Oh,
Yes.
that's sick. Well, I love it. I'm glad that Brat pulled you out of that
Yeah.
phase and into the new
Yes.
new age.
Yes. So we can wrap up the episode here. I hope everybody enjoyed. You still have 20
dates.
dates left.
With a gap in
Uh,
between, yeah.
with a
gap
But
in
a couple
between.
more on this run.
Are they all sold out?
They're not. No, the Europe dates still have some tickets left for Europe and
Well,
UK.
yeah.
Still some tickets. If you can catch a show, definitely try. And the album is, like you said, available on vinyl. Streaming, of course, sometimes might be off on Spotify. You don't know if it's gone. So I recommend go getting a vinyl, order a vinyl. That's just off your website, I'm assuming. Yeah. You do CD as well, or just vinyl?
Yeah,
CD.
absolutely.
Cassette?
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
No,
cool.
The full works.
Can I recommend something too?
Yeah.
Anybody who's watching, make sure you check out Orla's Patreon.
Yes.
It's very, very cool. You've lots of surprises, and you're going to continue on the vlog as you.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
editing episode 2 of the vlog
Oh,
today.
Yes, I
I'm
love
excited.
Trying to document the chaos with the driver. It's good. It'll have a different energy to episode
Yeah.
1, but
Episode 1
I think
seemed
it's
really
important.
episode 1
Was
really fun.
fantastic.
So I'm expecting episode 2 to be a little more chaotic. And,
yeah, I think some artists want to go on stage and kind of pretend that they just appeared there by
yeah.
magic, but I'm very into pulling the curtain back and showing what
Showing
it's
what-
really like.
That's awesome. Support Orla's Patreon, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
to
you
the
so
show.
much.
Thank you
Really
so much for
appreciate it.
having me, guys.
Yeah, cheers. We'll clap for each other.
Yes.
Great shoes, by the way.
Thank you, and thank you
Beautiful.
for all the gifts.
Oh, of course.
Ugh.
No worries. And take care.
Take
Love
care,
you,
people.
everybody.
Okay, bye bye.